The 60th season of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli continues today at Watkins Glen International, the historic circuit in New York's Finger Lakes region, where they've been racing Trans Am cars since 1968. Hi, everybody. Alan Bestbrook live. You're looking live at Watkins Glen, where, yes, conditions are wet, but more importantly, we just had a little cell come through that contains some lightning. So we're in a lightning hold, and the start of today's round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli season is going to be delayed for just a little bit. How these things work, if there's lightning within an 8-mile ring around the racetrack, everything stops until it's been 30 minutes since a lightning strike within that 8-mile ring. This rain only started about a half an hour ago, but again, it has contained some electrical activity, and we can't do anything about that. Will the cars race in the rain? Yes, they will, but the lightning has to clear first. Drivers, teams all morning long been fretting about how heavy the rain would be, when would it hit, would it be a full rain race, would it be a rain into drying conditions, and would a switch to dry tires throw a twist of plot into the race midway through it? All that still to be determined, and all of that still on hold because of the lightning in the area of this famous super speedway of road courses. So what we're going to do, we're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to show you an episode of Road to Glory, our exciting and really well-done documentary series taking you behind the scenes of Trans Am and the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series racing. And we'll keep you posted from what's going on here at Watkins Glen. And hopefully this lightning clears out and we'll get the green flag going on what is now a very wet super speedway of road courses. For now, let's take you to Road to Glory.
At the end of the day, that's really all you can do, is just do your best.
I just want to make sure that I'm doing my best to maximize my capabilities and that I'm not letting the team down.
I know for me, it doesn't really affect me that much if I know someone else is faster than me. I just know that if I do the stuff that I do right, I'll do well.
If you as a driver and if the entire team, puts in everything, does their best, I mean, it's going to be a good result, right? No matter what, that's just how it works, right?
If I go to my engineer and I'm complaining about, oh, I want the car to do this, or I think the car's doing this, well, I make sure I'm on my A game and I'm 100% so that there's nothing to fall back on except, okay, this is what needs to change. Or if I am messing up, then it's all on me.
Yes, there are some things that happen out of your control, but, everything happens for a reason. God has a plan for all of us. So it's just, just try your best, do your best.
Winning this championship is crucial for everyone's advancement to the next level in racing, There's only one first place prize. So I think everyone, especially if, they feel like they've missed an opportunity or haven't maximized the result, is feeling a little bit miffed. And everyone that's at the front thinks they're the best, which is what you need to have. So I think anytime you fall short of that, it's definitely disappointing.
So, I've been feeling I've been having to win for a long time. I had to win everything there is to win to feel satisfied, and I still have that fire and that hunger. There's nothing that's going to stop this fire inside me.
We're in a society that everything is now. I mean, it's certainly different from my age, or other drivers' age. It's that, you have a program, you have a plan. I think everything today, maybe because it's the internet or your phone or what have you, and everything is instantaneous. There again, I'm pushing the championship. It's a season. I notice from when they walk in on race 1 to where they are in the middle of the season to the end of the season, 2 things happen. Yes, they're becoming more successful on the track, but the confidence level, them in the person, just how they're walking, they're straight up, their shoulders are back, and they come and communicate with you at the very beginning of the season. They're a little quiet, a little shy, understand that. Halfway through the season, they come maybe with some more questions. And at the end of the season, they're walking because they've done well and they've grown as a race car driver, and they've also grown as a person.
I have the privilege to be racing here, in the USA, that for a Chilean guy or Latin guy, it's mind-blowing. There is so much that you can get from it, like being more more open to people, you know, because where you are like a normal kid, I would say, you just talk like to the school guys, you know, family and the friends of your friends. But here you go to another country, don't know anyone, and trying to make relationships, you know. It's building you also like a person, you know. But yeah, it gives you a lot of lessons. Like the beautiful thing of the sport is like when you win, it's a feeling so unique because you have been passing through like a lot of things like mechanical failures, millions of hours on flights, a lot of effort and sacrificing all just to be here and on the top places of an American championship.
Racing is their life, and it starts very early, obviously, as go-karters, but they idolize their local heroes, but they also idolize international heroes as well. And so that's kind of what brings them into the fold of, you know, hey, you can win anywhere. So, you know, go get it done.
Clemente Huerta is a returning driver and the number 17. He finished fourth in the championship a year ago. He's a 17-year-old out of Santiago, Chile.
And in my case, if I don't get sponsors this year, probably I'm not gonna race anymore, you know. And in Chile it's really difficult because companies like they aren't as supportive as, I don't know, the US, because I see the companies in many places, you know, and they are like competitions of everything, so everything has a sponsor, and that's why the Americans are successful, you know. I just love it, and I just can't imagine like doing a living out of anything else that isn't like racing.
Architecture is about everything. We change the environment. We are changing how people live in the environment today. So we basically put our fingerprint on the future of what the United States looks like. My overall business philosophy is that I'm engaged with my company from top to bottom. And I think the racing world and helping out the next generation and younger drivers is a passion of mine, and it's getting stronger and stronger every year. With that, that's why I want to be involved.
we get there Thursday night. I get all my media day stuff done. You know, I get to bed. I'm going to bed feeling really good about the next day. You know, get to get some testing in on Friday, and then we go out for testing on Friday. And we've got a little bit of a clutch issue, and I'm like, hey, first test session, no big deal. So we go in, the guys fix a bunch of stuff. They're working their tail off for 5 hours straight. And we go out for the next test session, and problem's still there. Work overnight trying to get that car working and trying to get it ready. And we go out for the practice session on Saturday, and everything's great. I mean, the car runs, the setup's not great, but we figure we're going to get it fixed for qualifying, and we're going to have a good race car. And then qualifying gets rained out. So we start off of my crappy practice time, and I think I'm starting like 24th overall or something like that. And so I take a deep breath. I'm like, hey, it's a long race. We've got 75 minutes out here. I'm just going to try to pick one off at a time. And I'm getting suited. I get my pre-race prayer in and ready to go. And then, boom, everything's gone just with a snap of a finger. So that was just kind of like the last straw, I guess, was that just right before while we were on grid. And then it was just a tough weekend, but they happen. Things break. It's a race car. Things are not going to go well. Things are going to go well. So we learned a lot on that weekend, and I grew myself, my character, and I'd say my adaptability and resilience definitely helped, and the crew learned a lot about the car and what tends to break on them. So we got a new rear end in it this week, and we're good to go.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
I mean, I guess quoting the Ford versus Ferrari movie, there's just a certain point at a certain, RPM with just the engine screaming and stuff like that where you just feel at peace and like the whole world just goes quiet, whether it's packing up on a race start, double file, and just that adrenaline rush and just how it just makes me feel like I can express myself, and it just makes me feel like I'm at home and where I belong to be, where I'm meant to be. I've tried a lot of things in my life and I've failed at a lot of things in my life, but racing is just so much different. It's the first time in my life where I feel like I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. Yeah, this is my second year racing in person in real life, so it's definitely a big pill to swallow, I'd say. And the hardest thing about it is just nobody knowing who I am and nobody knowing my talent, my skill, and that's what this year is about, is just proving that, hey, this is me, this is who I am, and I belong here and I can hang with all these other kids. On one hand, it's nice to have a big fan backing and to have a big reputation and name to yourself, and everyone's like, oh, he's that kid, and he's a SCUSA Nationals, SCUSA Pro Tour champion, and he's a Grand Nats champion, Super Nats champion, or he went and won a GT Challenge race, or went and raced in ARCA. But at the same time, it's also nice having people be like, who is this kid, and where did he come from? Being on a simulator for probably 3 years before I ever got into a go-kart for the first time, and then by the time I started go-karts, we kind of just decided if I start karting at 16, then by the time I'm competitive with all these kids, I'm going to be 20 or 18, and at that point, there's not really much to do.
The ingredients are there, it's how you mix that ingredients, and this year's all about understanding what's happening. So again, we always talk about building that foundation. That's what he's doing. At some point, they're going to be like, who is this kid and why is he where he is? Why is he up with all these other kids we know? And then at that point, it's nice to have people kind of look back into me and really figure out who I am. But it's definitely a challenge not having a name for myself. That's the biggest part of this year, I feel like, is building my reputation, building my name, and really putting myself out there.
I think it makes it easier to come home if you're sad, anxious, anything. You come home and you get to see your dogs, and that makes everything better, especially from a long day, a long weekend at the track and whatever. They're always here, always happy.
Yeah, I agree. Dogs are the best. They're my favorite. They don't talk back. He had a super rough day. He had to wake up today. And get out of bed too. That's probably the hardest thing he's done all day.
The other thing we do is my dad comes, he gets coffee every morning for my mom and him, and he comes home every day with treats. I know.
You can say coffee. Coffee? Jack, do you want to go get coffee? Because they substitute coffee with treats. So I'm the youngest, and then Jackson is, I think, like 20, 30 minutes older than me, so he has that on me, but nothing else. It's my serve because I scored. What is it, 4-4?
It's like everything we do.
4-3. 4-3? I have 4. Okay. All right, that wasn't my best work. We got it.
Homework, studying, grades, everything.
That wasn't my... Oh, yeah, that was my point. Good job. That was fine. That's a close one this time. I don't remember not having a competition with him. I think it's pretty much our whole life we've always been trying to like be better than the other one. So I mean, it can be with racing, who can eat our food quicker. It's honestly anything that requires two of us.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
I feel like we need to cut. I accidentally set it for 5 hours instead of 5 minutes. I can cook if I want to. If I wanted to, I could. I don't want to, but I can if I can choose to. I'm very limited. If I have a recipe in front of me, I'm good. But if I don't, I'm not good. It was more just for fun, like go out with my dad to Wisconsin and drive with him, like bonding, just fun time like that. But I think when I got older, like 11, 12, when we started hopping into cars, it was like, all right, like I used to have other trainers I used to go with in Chicago to do that stuff. And it's like, I mean, even 8 months ago, I don't think I would ever expected to be down here because we just moved in August. And it's even in June and July before that, it's like never expected to be moving down to North Carolina and starting a new life with Toyota down here and school, everything.
I tell all of them that when you step into this race car, when your parents put you in this race car, you become an adult. You have to act like an adult. You know, I'm going to be hard on you, you know, but because this is it's a tough sport.
Anything can change in like the blink of an eye, so it's really hard to figure out, like, and it's kind of hard to play it, but you really just have to focus on you.
For like me growing up, you never got an opportunity to drive a race car at 13, 14, 15 years old. You know, everybody that wanted you to drive, I was very fortunate. I drove for other people most of my career, and but they wanted you to have experience before they put you in. I was lucky enough that some guys seen me at a young age and said, hey, you know, here's your shot.
Sometimes you're like, oh, but what if I never make it? But I think that fuels you even more when you're sitting there thinking like, well, I might as well work the hardest at it and be the best at it. And who else will they pick besides me?
There's no really entry level. Like there is, but it's still hard. Like there's no, like you can't just go somewhere and be like, oh, I want to race and do, you can't expect yourself to do good. Really anywhere you go, there's going to be challenges, people that are better than you if you go there. I mean, when you first start racing, there's going to be someone that's done it longer, you know, just has more experience, and that's kind of like the whole reason you keep pushing, just because you want to be better than them, and then you'll find somebody else, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to beat them. Like you want to be the best, and you can never really go into it expecting a lot. Like once you start, you really have to just focus on getting better. Like there's no there's a skill disparity that's like really big.
At this age, I look for progression. I look for, hey, what did we learn the last couple weeks that we're bringing it back every week, bringing it back from this year to next year. And again, it really takes, no matter what situation you're working with a driver, it usually takes a year or two. Even the adult drivers, it takes a year or two for everything to start clicking. So we're in a little bit different mode here as far as grooming them. And so again, my goal is to just hope that they leave here with something more than they came with.
I think you're constantly learning, and there's no time that you're like, oh, well, I'm talking to him, it's fine. You're always, especially like me coming up new to the series and everything, I'm learning everything from everybody, writing it down, like filing it, whatever.
It's just like anything. If you want to be good at it, you got to go for it. You got to want to be here.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner Lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
As a race car driver, you have to always know where victory lane is if you plan on winning. You know, pulling over the bridge and coming in there and seeing victory lane right there, it just gives you a sense of, all right, at the end of this weekend, I'm going to be there. It's racing, and we're all doing what we can to win.
The feeling of winning is great. Well, I don't think I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I mean, motivation's a really big one. Just what gets me up every morning, and just like, I just think about like, this is what I chose to do with my life, and I'm really thankful for it.
Last season, I had never been to any of these tracks with a Trans Am car. I'd been there in an open wheel car or something else, but never in a TA2 car. So 3-lap runs, you know, in one practice session, I wanted maybe a couple more, like you said, just to try and teach myself a little bit more and whatnot. But, you know, learning to be able to have quick runs like that and being able to go out and figure it out right away is definitely a strong suit.
Very few people come into TA2 their first time and run away with a championship. You know, I actually have not seen that. It takes a while.
There's probably 14 or 15 guys that could win a race at any given track at any given point.
When I did the road courses races with NASCAR and ARCA and NASCAR, Not all of them are so very strong on road courses, but here you're coming to a championship that everybody is good on road courses. This is what they're doing. So I knew it's gonna be tough, but I'm ready for that. I came from Europe. I did only road courses my whole life. That's my thing. It's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be fun.
Just with how close everybody is, it's not so much about just being fast. It's about being smart and being a really good racer.
Let's just say this race has a history of the opening laps being a little bit rough.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. I can see a lot of these young drivers going for it.
You look at the class of 2025, and they started out a little bit wild, and they matured a lot, to the point where our last two races of 2025 were green to checker with no full course cautions, and that's amazing. What a turnaround from race one. So I'm hoping we can kind of continue that momentum with some of the veterans that have come back and keep the message of the rest of the drivers that we're sending out, keep them patient.
All drivers know how to press the go on the whoa pedal. That's not the issue. It's when you press it and how much you press it, and they're very calculating how to do that.
For me, in regular season or championship format, you just want to go out there and obviously you want to win every race, but at the end of the day, just get solid points, just rack up solid points throughout the year. And one of the national karting championships I won, I think I only won one race, and the rest of the races I finished on the podium, and it was enough to win the championship just because I was consistent. And maybe I could have won more races, but I played conservative and took a P2 finish because I knew that in the end it would pay off.
I think SLR and Chevrolet have done a pretty good job of sussing out young drivers at an extremely young age and seeing their potential, and Elio is probably one of those guys. You can look at how he got the pole at COTA, but it's backed up by the speed that he had going in, especially with so little time in those cars, and he's done an amazing job.
It didn't surprise me because I have been watching him making that kind of races for 2 years. Since 2024, I know how he drives, how he managed all that kind of fights. With me, the first time he beat me, I was really surprised and happy. It was like, wow, this is a great kid, how he fight with me and he beat me. And it was not like I feel injured, I feel like happy because that kid is going to make big things happen.
I think this weekend he knows there's a lot of eyes upon him. I think some of the veterans will race him a lot differently because he was an unknown quantity back then. But now they know who he is. He's in a front-running car, a winning team. Watching him at testing, I think he's on the front end of the spear there, on the tip of the spear.
Growing up, I was like, man, I'm going to go to IndyCar, or I'm going to be in NASCAR. You just say these things, but then as you get older, you realize it's not as easy as saying you just want to be an IndyCar driver, right? There's a lot of money behind the scenes. I think as a driver, all you can do is just kind of, in a way, ignore that and just focus on just doing the best that you can on track, because that's all you can do. So controlling the things that you can control.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust NextGen to protect your car every day. Find NextGen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
One of the most rewarding parts of my job is doing what I can to contribute to helping young drivers make the right decisions or get faster, or any part of seeing them grow into a more viable option for a team owner that wants to hire them. That's so much of the percentage of why I'm in this position in the first place. I enjoy that a lot. It's a way for me to give back. It's interesting and exciting. But there's another side of that when I am part of the decision-making process for any penalties or whatnot. And there's a lot of those penalties and decisions that have to be made that are, even when they're clear-cut, but often, there's a lot of gray area and borderline stuff that you have to make a call on one way or the other, and you have to make that call. Having been in that situation and having something that I've wanted so much, worked so hard for, dedicated so much time to, and had one little instance that takes that away, is, as a driver, it was gutting. As someone that had to be a part of the process to take that effort and penalize it is gut-wrenching.
The Mozak incident, I went into the corner, I felt like, prior to the caution, I felt like I was just eating away at those guys. I was catching them like massive chunks of time a lap, and I knew I was going to get by them if we had stayed green. So I think at one point, like at first when the yellow came out, I was like, oh crap, we're going to end under caution. Just dang it. Didn't quite get back to the podium. And then when we went green and we had the start, and then it was like hectic. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about like long term. I was just like, I gotta get by Mozak and I gotta get to Vinny, and then we'll see what happens after that. Try to get back to second. But specifically into the corner, I went into the corner, hit the brake pedal. I knew as soon as I hit the brake pedal, I was like, oh crap, I've got a lot of momentum on him here. And I felt like I got to the inside based on what the rule says. It's just racing, and it's the first race of the year. We got 11 more to go to get back points.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner Lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
Yeah, Graham Jacobson, I didn't get to talk to him too long, but funny story, he was running the SCCA race here, and then went home on Saturday, had his prom, and then was racing again here Sunday morning, because this is his home track, and he's really into racing. So I've never heard somebody leaving a racetrack to go to their prom to come back to the racetrack. I thought that was pretty cool.
With my first actual race being at my home track and being at a place that's just so special to me, I think it's really good. And I have so many of my family and my friends here supporting me, and so many people that are just from Georgia that are supporting me too.
He's here. He loads into Road Atlanta. He had what would be described as not a great Sebring, and he's loading in, but his whole family's here. Extra pressure on him to run really well for the Saturday race here.
Honestly, I'd be lying if I said I didn't come back in the trailer after Sebring and bawl my eyes out for probably 10 minutes straight. It's just all the work that we put in over the off season, all the work that the team put in, getting the car ready, and all the work I put in trying to, get laps in every way I can and study, watch Rafa, listen to him, get coaching, and everything we did. And it just, all goes to crap within a split second of us just leaving the grid. I mean, after Sebring, I'll take a good result as if I take the green flags. I mean, Road Atlanta is just so special to me, and it just feels like my second home almost at this point. And coming to a track that I'm so familiar with, and I know every single crack in the pavement and every single hill and turn and everything like the back of my hand, it's comforting knowing that I'm somewhere that I feel good in and I feel comfortable in. And I've never driven a TA2 car here, but I've driven plenty of other cars here, and pretty much anything with four wheels I've done a lap at Road Atlanta. And so it's really nice to, after how crappy that weekend was at Sebring, it's nice to come and get a good rebound here. It's like I told Rafa, I can be sad about it, I can be mad about it, but at the end of the day, sulking about it isn't going to change anything. And at the end of the day, I'm forever grateful to be able to come out here and say, for me, a disappointing weekend is not getting to drive a race car, where for a lot of people that's the reality for every weekend. Every single night that I'm here, I always sit at the bridge at turn 11 and watch the sunset from 10A. If you just look straight that way, it's a beautiful sight. But I know a lot of people that come here often, whether it's like HPDE days or race weekends or anything pretty much, and just the people and the atmosphere and just being around cars just always makes me really excited. Just coming out here and being able to drive a good race, in my opinion. I don't have to win, I don't have to be on the podium, but if I can be satisfied, I mean, with how I am, I'll never be satisfied if I don't win, but I can, take a deep breath and say, I think I'm proud of myself this weekend. I think that's the most important. That's my goal this weekend.
There's a ton of new and interesting stories in the paddock. One of them is Graham. He is coming off of a really tough start to the season at Sebring, where he had a mechanical that didn't even let him get to the green flag. So showing up to race 2, being his home track, this was going to be something that he wanted to prove a point, and it was awesome.
It sounds a little corny, but you can really feel when you and the car are like together, and when you can really feel the car and the car responds to how you're driving and how you like to drive it. And there's just a certain point where you can feel it in the wheel that, okay, this is how that car wants to be driven, and this is how fast this car is going to drive through this corner.
Shot out in practice too, straight to single digits on the pointy end of the chart. I think he was top 6 or 8 the entire weekend in just about every session he did. So for a rookie to come in, be best qualifying rookie, have a really solid run and show speed, that was an awesome, shot in the arm.
Whenever I go out, I'm not really thinking at all. You can't really think when you're driving a car that fast, and you just don't have time to think. Forget about the last session, forget about the last weekend, forget about the last year. It's just all about this one session, this one lap, this one turn at a time.
He's got strong teammates that he's close to in time, veterans that have won championships and tons of races, and he's already showing in the second race that he's right there, deserves to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing his success as another one of our young drivers that learns on this platform and advances.
It's 8th place, so I'm not going to go and say I'm over the world about it, but it's a really good starting spot for, especially after how bad Sebring was and how emotional that weekend was, and just being able to come out here, be the fastest rookie in qualifying, and be able to finally show the world what I could do. Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be people saying, where the heck did this kid come from? Because at Sebring, it just wasn't good. I was off the pace of Sebring, but Sebring's a tough track, and then so I come out here and I've had a bunch of people come and tell me, they're like, good job. So I think that's the best part, is people are finally starting to notice that I have what it takes to be in this series.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
I think that the drive comes from early in my karting years growing up. Me and my dad were always kind of the first ones to be at the track and last ones to leave. We just like being there early and practicing before everyone else, and then leaving later because we were just always trying to fine-tune those little details. So obviously you can kind of see the resemblance here now. I probably got to the track, I wouldn't say around 8 this morning, and obviously now it's 8:40.
When you see a kid that grabs pole by a few tenths, which is a large margin, then dive into his data and stay at the track until it's dark going over stuff because his pole wasn't quick enough, and he saw a hole here or there and wants to get better.
Got my first official pole. The past 2 races I've gone off of practice time, so feels good to finally get the official pole position. It's not like I got lucky or anything.
When you start pushing that envelope from the inside out, and what makes the great teams always great, it's a people culture, and it's the attention to detail.
Yeah, heading into it, I knew obviously we made really good changes throughout practice this weekend. We were kind of missing a little bit. And the car was already great, but Rick, my crew chief, he's like, I want you to complain. We need to make this car perfect. And I was like, all right. So I complained throughout practice, and we're just hunting for these little details. Even though we're quicker than the field, we're still going after those little margins. And so we finally found it in the practice before qualifying. We're like, all right, we're in a good spot. So we made one last change before qualifying. We were kind of uncertain because we felt like we were in a good spot, but we knew the track was going to change. So we're like, do we stay where we're at and be, happy, or do we try and go for more? And so we went for that one change, and it worked. So we got track record in qualifying, which I had no idea of until this morning. So that was really cool.
Elio Meza has been impressive on so many different levels. There's a natural talent that's obviously there, but then there's a dedication beyond just that talent.
I have a more mature conversation with him than I do with a lot of adults. But it's not just the art of the conversation, it's how he says stuff. And when he's, just like his driving, it's calculated, but it's natural for him. And I don't know if his hearing disability has made him look at things differently. It's almost like he has a photographic memory. But his attention to detail on everything, not only from a car performance, but what he's doing as a driver, what the track is, what he's asked, what he's feeling from the track. He's got that whole package, and he's just starting to scratch the surface of it.
As you kind of progress in your career, you kind of understand what lingo to use that works better with your crew chief or whatever, whether it's your team or your crew chief. For me, I've just learned kind of the right words to use, so that way it gets to the point directly. Because a lot of times you can go on a rant and kind of not explain too much. But I feel like that's one thing I've also studied is even in off season or prepping for a race, like what words can I use to maximize the detail that I give my crew. So last year I drove here in the MX-5 Cup cars, and those cars are super all over the place, and when you hit those curves it kind of launches you off a lot, and it's very similar to these cars. But another thing you have to deal with is when the car lands, it bottoms out pretty hard. And so you have to really make sure your car is pointed straight, because if you hit the curb at the wrong angle, you'll go off track. And so I had a close moment in qualifying where I hit the curb just at the slightest wrong angle, and I barely grazed and dipped some tires in the dirt in turn 4. But yeah, that's the super deceiving corner, because it's one of the blind corners that you go into. So you have to really make sure when you turn in, I mean, that's where you're turning in. You're committed. You're committed at that point, so you're just holding on. So you have to make sure that when you turn in into the corner, that you better be pointing in the right direction.
And 2 is a theme for these numbers I'm about to give you, Andy. In 2 tries in TA2, he started first twice and finished first twice.
From a rookie standpoint, let me ask you this. The question should be, what did Connor Zillage do? What did Tristan McKee do? He didn't win his first race to 4th race in. Helio right out of the box. Put it on the box. Second race, out of the box, put it on the box. Proof is in the results, isn't it?
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner Lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
Yeah, so now that we get to the start of the Cube 3 TA2 series and here at Road Atlanta, and my heart's always pounding because here's 31 of my friends, about to take the green flag.
My whole thing in my racing is I just like to play it safe, especially with how long this race is and how it's just going to be down to whoever saves their tires the most. If I'm going to fight hard to keep my spot and to gain spots, but at the same time, if someone's burning up their tires, being really aggressive and tries to make a move on me, I'm not going to try and fight it and kill my tires over that. I'd rather just save my tires and get them back with 10 to go.
And on the front row, a couple of Chevrolets. It's Meza on the inside in the 28 machine. And to his outside, it's Perez de Lara in another Chevy Camaro. Pace car is off. And round 2 of the Q3 Architecture TA2 series is green.
3 for 3 is pretty... I just thinking about it, it's pretty cool to think about that I'm going after that, but I try to disconnect from that. I've kind of mentioned it a couple times in the past where I really separate my process from the outcome. And I think that's why I'm able to stay so calm in the car when I go out there, because I'm not worried about the result. I'm just trying to have fun and execute as best as I can, and whatever happens, happens. Obviously, it's been going well. We won COTA, we won Sebring. Now I'm happy because I got my first official pole.
I mean, I don't know if it was my earbuds are better or if it was just me, but I mean, everything just went silent. As soon as I put on my helmet, everything was just silent, and I didn't hear the motor, I didn't hear anything, I didn't hear myself breathing until my engineer told me green flag, and that's when I just kind of I just snapped out of it. And it just felt so natural to go out there and fight with Thomas Merrill and fight with Gian and defend against Laney and just all these great drivers, and really being able to be up there with them and prove myself and say, hey, I'm a great driver too.
And Elio Meza just doing Elio Meza things, pulling away from the front of the pack quickly.
He's good at everything. The braking zones, the S's, the technical parts, the restarts.
You're feeling the car, you're feeling the tire, and for me, I don't know if it's my hearing or whatever, but I can feel everything really well. So if I miss a corner, I can feel it. I'm like, that's half a tenth or whatever it may be. Then that corner is another half a tenth. Then just throughout the lap, it kind of adds up, and then you realize, okay, let's try and fix it the next lap.
I mean, at first I thought there's something on the track or something up with my suspension or something, but I just got a big lick of understeer right on the exit of 12. I went off track. I managed to keep it out of the wall, keep it straight, but then hit a little pothole there. It just blew my whole left splitter off. So
yeah, we got one off here. Speaking of going off track,
look at the gravel.
It's like he's not going to hit anything, but that's going to be a hard place to get back on from.
That's Jacobson.
At that point, I mean, I tried to get it refired. It refired. It never stalled, but it wouldn't turn and it wouldn't get out of the grass. So at that point, it's obviously just a wave of disappointment, but it's a lot different when it's your fault versus something that's out of your control. So I've learned from it, and while it's a tough way to learn, I guarantee you it's never going to happen again.
Rev up up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Well, I race in Europe in the Euro NASCAR. So basically NASCAR in Europe, and it's mostly on road courses, this is where I came from, road courses. I'm not doing ovals usually. And I was looking for something as similar to that, but on road courses, and I just fell in love with the TA2.
I'll say this about Alon Day. He's the show. I told him this the other day, too. At Sebring, right? The race didn't end up working out. The car ended up getting all beaten up and the fenders flapping off it, but he was a show at Sebring.
He's a wheel man.
I hope I'm going to be in the top 1.
Alon Day has been putting pressure on everybody today. He's made a big charge from the back.
We spoke to Alon Day at Sebring, and he had a very good showing there. But I think this weekend he definitely raised some eyebrows.
Oh, did he get into contact? Or was that just heavy braking in the smoke there?
It could have been, yeah, locking up a wheel. But it looks like Day gets a spot.
Yeah, but I just like competition. I don't think it's even about cars. I think it's just competition. If I wasn't driving cars, I would race something else, like camels or whatever. I would race on something.
Here comes Alon Day, first one out of line, a peek to the inside.
The opportunity that JSSI gave me to drive here, to sponsor me for this season, is such a big opportunity for me, so I was training as hard as possible, trying to prepare myself as hard as possible, and I think I'm in the highest shape I've ever been in my life. More than when I was winning the championships in Europe, more than anything else.
It looks like Alon Day has now taken third place, so he is in the podium spot.
Alon Day will come from a wrecked race car and not qualifying all the way up to the third step on the podium.
But I knew Alon, after Sebring, he had some potential, and I knew he had a really good success in other series, racing in the Euro stuff. And obviously when he missed out on qualifying and had his incident in practice, I was bummed for him because obviously I wanted to start up front with him and see how good of a race we could have had. And so I knew he was going to come up through the front, so I said, before the race, I'm like, I'll see you up there. And sure enough, I look in my mirror on the final restart, and I see him P3, and I was like, all right, this is going to be good. But unfortunately, we finished under yellow, and I don't really like to win races that way, but I think, how the race was playing out, I think we would have won it fair and square anyway.
And the amazing Meza, Elio Meza. wins again. Today here at Road Atlanta, he led every lap and dominated today after setting a new track record in qualifying.
Heck yeah, Elio, way to go, buddy. SSLR top 3. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Congrats, guys. Congrats on the top 3. Thank you guys so much. Oh, this feels good. Thank you, guys. For all the hard work. Oh, this feels good. Thank you guys so much.
Try not to crash the car again. Mainly. I try to be as safe as possible. I knew that people will do mistakes. I was hoping for some cautions. I wish that caution in the end will come, but it is what it is. Yeah, I try to be safe, take them one by one, not doing any stupid mistakes, and bring the car in one piece back, which was the most important for me.
It just feels like everything's worth it. In those 5 seconds. Whenever I hug my dad and know how much work and effort he's put into to allow me to chase my passion and dreams. Obviously, he's made a lot of sacrifices for me since I was born. From a young age, with the hearing issue I had, not knowing if I would live a normal life or whatnot, and up until now, not knowing if I would ever be able to drive a race car professionally due to the hearing issues. But he's persevered and fought really hard for me to chase my dreams, and I think this is the least I can do is share those moments with him and show him how appreciative I am of him. You know, he's from Mexico, so the main sport there was soccer, right? And he was kind of the oddball out and was watching racing, and his family kind of, you know, made fun of him or poked at him for watching racing. He's like, why aren't you watching soccer, right? But that's what he loved to do, you know, but unfortunately at the time he didn't have the funding to get a kart or go racing, so you know, he wasn't able to live out that dream. And so growing up, he never forced it on me per se, but he always had it on TV. He was always watching it in the mornings, and then, you know, got me my go-kart for my 6th birthday, and I fell in love with it. And so you know, he always made sure and told me that he never wanted me to feel like he was forcing it on me and that we could stop any moment I wanted. So I think, you know, as a dad or as a father, that's, you know, an important thing to say to your kid, just because it takes the pressure off of me, right? I'm not feeling pressured by my dad to perform. And even if I did feel like I didn't do well or the result wasn't great, my dad would always tell me good job and give me a hug after the race. And I just think that just reinforced me to go out there and do my best, and I didn't have to worry about, you know, my dad being mad at me or screaming at me after a session.
That's why this sport is just like no other. There's no other sport where your biggest challenge is going into braking at 170 miles an hour, and there's no other sport where it's quite literally life or death. And to be able to do a sport like that and do something that I just love doing, and I'm always smiling, and even when I'm not, I'll go and realize, I'm like, dude, I'm battling with 2 other cars right now, and one of them's a TA2 champion, you know? I'm having fun, I'm having a good time, and there's every single time you see me with a helmet on, I can guarantee there's a smile under my face.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Racing America live at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, where the lightning has passed. The grid is open, and round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli for 2026 is going to get underway in just a little while. Thanks for hanging around. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. The super speedway of road courses in the wet for the day. That's what lies ahead for the drivers and teams of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Alan Bestwick, thanks for joining us today. A pleasure to be joined by the championship leader in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series, racing at Watkins Glen later today in the first of a doubleheader weekend. Elio Meza is here with us. First of all, thanks for doing this. Second of all, your first time at Watkins Glen. What's it like?
It's amazing. Well, first off, thanks for having me, Alan. And like you said, first time here at Watkins Glen. And it's been a blast. My favorite corner, I told you, nonstop is the best stop. It's so rewarding when you hit it right. And yeah, just super excited to be here. And thanks for having me.
It's fun. So, racing in the rain. You've done it once this season at Lime Rock Park on Memorial Day weekend. It was not your best race of the season, but you told me there were 1,000 things you learned about racing in the rain. If you were asked to give advice to these drivers now about racing in the rain, what'd be the top couple things you'd tell them?
I would just say the biggest thing is staying off the paint. Paint is not good in the wet, and then just learning from all the other drivers around you. I think in the wet, it really shows which drivers can adapt the best. So, you'll see the guys at the front who kind of pull away. Those are the guys that try the most. And so, yeah, the name of the game is just going to be experimenting and trying to find the right line quick.
And then the other part of it is, as I look at the weather radar, this rain is going to stop. And the track is going to be drying throughout the course of the race. How tricky is that behind the wheel?
It's super tough. I mean, you ask drivers, they either want it really wet or some drivers want it in intermediate conditions, and some drivers hate the wet. So, I don't know where I stand on that scale yet, but, it's always tricky because the track's changing every time, where when it's raining all the time and there's always downpour, it's kind of similar conditions every lap. But when the track's drying every lap, it makes it hard for one guy to run the same line every lap. So that's why it's super important to try everything you can.
And you certainly want to be the car in front of the pack in that rain as well. Speaking of at the front of the pack, Nate Dryer's down on the grid for us again today. Unfortunately out of the weather, but the grid forming up, and we're getting ready to go, Nate.
Matthew Brabham's pulled in behind me. Both he and Paul Menard in the front row. They qualified below the track record. Throw that out, though. The weather, of course, has been here all day, and the rain is even picking up again a little bit in the last couple of minutes. I talked to the CD Racing team, both Chris Dyson, a three-time winner here at Watkins Glen, and Matthew Brabham. They're looking forward to the rain. They think their cars are good in those conditions. Paul Menard won at Lime Rock Park, the only time that we have run in the rain this year. Look out for a dark horse. Tommy Dreese starts fourth. I talked to him. He said the car's been pushy all weekend, not in the window we want, but we're looking forward to the rain because it might mix things up a little bit. So I think everyone seems pretty happy with the rain. We could have a little bit of chaos coming, though.
Mixing it up a little bit. That's what racing in the rain does best. So we're getting ready to mix it up a lot here as the Trans Am Series by Pirelli goes green in the wet at Watkins Glen International. The command to start engines is coming up as we're live on Racing America.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
My name is Chris Coffey, and you're watching Trans Am on Racing America.
Chris Coffey, the SGT championship contender, one of the drivers lined up and ready to go racing in the wet today at Watkins Glen International. It's round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli after a lightning delay about set to get the command to start engines and the green flag. Let's take a look back by way of review at where we last saw these racing heroes compete. It was a few weeks ago at Wisconsin's Road America. And up the hill they come. Trans Am Series at Road America. Cam Menard hang with Brabham as they race down the hill now to the braking zone for turn 1. So Brabham had gradually built the advantage over Menard. Now Menard is on pit road.
Now, this is very unusual to be in the pits changing tires.
Oh, got a car in hard in a barrier. That's Kent Waits. Oh, trouble there. Off the spot, Pintaric's going to get taken out. Coming to the checkered flag to claim his 14th win in 23 tries. Matthew Brabham wins at Road America for CD Racing. There's the green flag. Racing is on, down to turn 1. And car's off. That is the 20 car of Seamus McKendry at the end of the straightaway. Race for 4th position here. Noah Harmon put pressure on Gian Buffamani. What a great drive Harmon had last Sunday in Indianapolis. Here comes the pack. He's locking it up. Oh, can he make it work? Phillips crosses him over off turn 14.
This battle's not over.
Is that Mesa off the pace?
Oh, yeah.
Mesa's off the pace. The leader's off the pace. He's falling back to 3rd and slowing.
Wrong.
The lead changes hands at the white flag. But now, here's the race for the win. It's Alon Day leading Matthew Brabham 2nd as Mesa continues to fall back into the field. Alon Day in victory lane at Road America for his 2nd win of the season. Well, look back at what was round 7 for both the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. Now we come to Watkins Glen and a doubleheader weekend. Elio Mesa, championship leader in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, joining me on the broadcast today. Let's talk about a couple of the spots on this Watkins Glen course that might be particularly tricky in the wet, the low spots of the course. Here we're looking at the inner loop and that long carousel corner.
Yeah, the corner that I think, or the bus stop is what stands out to me the most because there's not really one. I mean, there's only one line you can go through there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, a traditional, for example, turn 6 where you can either run the outside or run different lines. There you have no option but to really just run on the racing line. And as many of you guys know, when the racing line has all that rubber in the wet, it's super slick. So it's going to be interesting to see these guys come through here, especially in these TA cars where, on cold tires it's treacherous. So I can only imagine cold tires in the wet. It's going to be pretty treacherous.
And then I'm thinking when you run off this carousel corner and you go downhill into the boot, that first corner into the boot, turn number 6, they call the laces. That's kind of a low spot on the racetrack. There you see that exit of the bus stop there. And here's that turn 6 where it's already tricky in the dry, getting in and getting through there cleanly.
Right. No, it's a downhill corner, and like you're saying, it's really tricky because you're always flirting with that edge of, seeing how much entry you could get there, but at the same time, you don't want to lose the rear end. So right here, it doesn't look like there's too much standing water, but there at the end, you can see heading into 7, right in the brake zone, it's going to be really tricky for these guys.
Yeah, some interesting spots. And then, of course, when you get down to turn 1, that's a downhill corner as well. High speed into there, and, the camera angle's almost a little deceiving at just how downhill that is.
Very deceiving, and you go to a lot of tracks, and it doesn't do it justice on camera how much elevation there is. But it doesn't look like there's too much standing water. There's a little bit on the curbing there on apex of 1, but as soon as you track out here, we're all tracking out really wide. It's going to be really slick.
Yeah, so that those painted curbs, those painted logos, drivers have been using this runoff area literally as part of the racetrack. There's no track limits in Trans Am. You can go all the way out to that barrier if you want to, and some people have been, but that might be especially tricky in the wet.
No, it's going to be really, really tricky. You have these, so you have this exit curbing, the red, yellow, and blue curbing, and then outside of that, you almost have these rumbles that are kind of flush with the floor, and there's almost little scoops, and you can see it's very shiny where there's a lot of water, standing water. So a lot of these guys, I would think, are going to try and avoid that as much as they can. But, turn one gets really tricky on the race start. So, it'll be interesting.
Interesting is a good word. And we're about to get really interesting because it's time to go trackside and get the command to get this race started.
And now it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. From Next Gen, please welcome Sadie Cantrell to give today's command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well done. So our field of cars is getting ready to go here at Watkins Glen International after a heavy rain shower and a lightning delay. And I think also important to note, this is a doubleheader weekend. This is the first of two. You've got to use this car tomorrow for round 9 of the season. So how much does that factor into the driver's space between the years?
No, right. As a driver, you have 2 races that you're going to try and complete, all 100% of those laps. And so typically going into race 1, you want to almost play it conservative because last thing you want to do is wreck the car and not have an opportunity to do well the next day. So a lot of these guys, especially in the wet, I'm going to guess they're going to be a little bit conservative, but you never know. Some of these guys also might take advantage of that as well.
All right, so the field beginning to roll from where they're gridded behind the pit lane, and they'll come out onto the racetrack for just one pace lap before the green flag and the start of today's race. Our track today, 3.4 miles around, 11 turns, plus the inner loop is the distance for this one. And it looks like everybody that was on the grid has made its way off the grid. I saw a couple of gaps on the grid. There may be a couple of cars that didn't make the start or are choosing not to make the start because of conditions in this race. So Watkins Glen, so full of history, right? 1948, they started racing around here, and then they opened up the permanent course off the streets of the village in the mid-1950s. Let's take a look around the race course, a little map of what the drivers are going to see and face as they run through these 100 miles today. And Ellie will give us a little bit of a tour around here as we start coming down this main straightaway.
Right, so you're across the start-finish line, going down into turn 1, downhill brake zone, and really important to get in there and maximize your entry, but also really important that you get off because it leads onto this long S and back straightaway. We go to turns 2, 3, and 4. And here we go into the famous bus stop here at Watkins Glen, my favorite part of the track. Going turn 5, and then you go into the boot, going through turn 6 and 7, uphill. Really important to get a really good launch off of there. Turn 8, another downhill brake zone. Turn 9, very tricky because it's a blind entry. Then turn 10 and 11, another really important section to hit.
So there it is, just under 3.5 miles around, 11 corners plus the bus stop is the circuit the drivers will face today. Several races within the race and Trans Am competition. We've got the full-blown Trans Am 900 horsepower cars. Today we feature the SGT cars, high-performance production-based cars with some aerodynamic modifications and some moderate driver aids. You got the GT entry-level class in a Trans Am Pro competition. And you want to keep an eye on those SGT cars today because in the rain, some of those limited driver aids they have may help their pace against the full-blown Trans Am cars that have the 900 horsepower and no driver aids. That's what we saw at Lime Rock Park in the other race in the rain this season. Starting lineup, Matthew Brabham is on the pole. New track record in qualifying. 8 poles in 8 tries this year for Matty Brabs as he continues what's been an impressive performance for CD Racing. So Brabham on the pole. In car number 16, his rival for the title, right there behind him, Paul Menard, driving the Genealosi number 3, the Pittsburgh Paints Menards Ford Mustang. Just 0.2 of a second separated those top two in qualifying. Watkins Glen's all-time leading winner in Trans Am, Chris Dyson, sits third on the grid. Tommy Dreese is running fourth. You see the rest of the top 10 starters. Jesse Schmidt was the fastest of the SGT qualifiers. This is a New Hampshire driver in just his second ever Trans Am race. He won the first one in the rain at Lime Rock. So he's one to keep an eye on as we go through today's race. So 30 laps is the scheduled distance. There is a 75-minute time limit on the race. Will the track dry out enough to see dry tires become a thing? It's a big change. It's a long pit stop, but it's certainly something all these teams and drivers have to be thinking about as they go.
Right. I mean, the only way I kind of see that happening is the sun comes out here. And like I said, it's my first time here at Watkins Glen, so I'm not really familiar with the weather here, but you never know. And it's what's going to make it interesting here.
Everybody's a weather expert looking at their 5 weather apps, right? I'm looking at my 5 over here to our left of where we're sitting, and they both say that the last of the rain has moved out for the next several hours. So I think we're going to get a drying track as we go. The question is, does it dry enough? And think about the pit road here. Pit road speed limit's 40 miles an hour. So it's a long trip down the pit lane. Plus, Trans Am Racing, these crews don't do flying pit stops every week. So they don't have that group of specialists trained to jump over the wall and change tires in, 9 seconds. It's going to take about 30 seconds for a pit stop, plus the trip down pit road. What's the give or take versus the pace you're losing on a drying track while being on the Pirelli wet tires?
I mean, I would say, Pirelli does a really good job with their wet tires and, their dry tires in general. But, I think the best bet's going to be try and pit before a full course caution and just kind of catch that break so you can start at the tail of the field and be as close as you can. But it'll have to be really dry for it to be worth it because, like you said, the pit road starts right off the exit of the last corner, and you actually don't leave pit road until the exit of turn 1. So it's a very long walk down, and like you said, 40 mile an hour. So,
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge if it starts to dry out quickly. Riding on board David Pintarek, who was not able to make qualifying yesterday. His team needed to make an engine change, so an install lap earlier today is the only flying lap that David's had in the last 24 hours here, but he's on the grid and getting ready to go. I don't see... Well, I'll come back to that. We'll ride along on Jim Sawyer on board camera with the pole here, Matthew Brown, as he goes through the bus stop. It'll be fun watching Matty work today, won't it?
It will be. And, I got the chance to race against him at Road America a couple weeks ago, and really nice guy. This is the first time I actually spoke with him, and funny enough, I didn't know he was racing at Road America until the press release came out, so no one decided to tell me. But no, that was a really fun weekend with him, and excited to watch him and Paul Menard go at it here in race 1.
Should be a lot of fun. So Brown ready to go from pole position. Yeah, they were scheduled to do the one pace lap, but they gave them a second to try and build a little heat into these Pirelli wet tires and give the drivers a good look at what the course conditions are like. Those couple of spots like they're coming up to here, the run down from the laces to the toe of the boot, where they'll hit that spot where the track is banked a little bit, and you'll see some water running from driver's right to driver's left across the racing surface.
Right, you can see them here pairing up side by side, getting ready to come to the green flag, and I think it's a good idea, giving them one more lap to get some heat in those Pirelli tires.
All right, so the pace car is beginning to pick up a little bit of speed now, and the drivers forming up in their rows of 2 to get ready to go. So again, it's a 30-lap distance scheduled today, but a 75-minute time limit, and it'll be interesting to see how careful some people are and who's not as careful in these opening laps. There may be some people that look at this as opportunity, that bravery balance, if you will.
Exactly. And
you can calculation.
And you can also take advantage of some of the mistakes that guys make on the start, too. Some guys, like you said, you get a little greedy, overshoot the brake zone, and it's an easy pass for the guy behind, but we'll see.
Yep. And, of course, visibility for those back in traffic. What will it be like in the spray thrown up by those 2 front row cars as the green flag waves here in just a moment. I don't see Amy Ruman's car on the grid. It is here and did qualify, but I don't see it on the grid, so a story to be followed up on there in a moment. But here they come, lights out on the pace car, and we're coming around for the start. Wet track in turn 1. Certainly something to watch as this first lap plays out as round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli comes down for a start. Green flag is out, and we're racing at Watkins Glen. Brabham gets a half a nose out in front of Menard as they hit the brake zone for turn 1.
Brabham with a really good jump over Paul Menard going into turn 1.
And a little deeper in the field, that SGT lead will be something to keep an eye on as well. Chris Coffey in that red Ferrari racing the white Porsche of Jesse Schmidt.
Just like I thought, a lot of guys stayed off of the exit of turn 1, which is smart from a lot of these guys. We can already see Matt Brabham having a pretty big lead over Paul Menard going into the bus stop.
Now that red and yellow striped flag you see from the track marshals, that's a surface flag. That's just a warning flag that there are things on the surface to be aware of. Sometimes it might be debris, sometimes it might be oil. In this case, it's the water.
Right.
As you see Coffey making a move around Schmidt there for the SGT class. I think that might be for the class lead as well.
Yep. You see a lot of those guys trying to different lines already, just trying to experiment and see what they can find. Some guys running the outside, some guys running the inside. So this is exactly what you're going to see in these type of conditions.
Back up the hill. A lot of elevation change on this Watkins Glen course. Downhill, uphill. There's not a whole lot of it that's terribly level. Back downhill again. This for turn number 8, the heel of the boot, then a big uphill climb to get back around to rejoin the NASCAR course at what is turn 9 of the long course. There's Chris Dyson racing David Pintarek there, 20 and 57. That's for 4th and 5th. Tommy Dreese is through into 3rd on the initial break on the start. And here comes that SGT class leader, that red Ferrari for Chris Coffey. I'm talking about the Lime Rock race on Memorial Day weekend when it was rainy conditions. That's the only race this season that Matthew Brabham didn't win the outright race. He had a mechanical problem in that race and didn't finish. Paul Menard went on to win that race. But the SGT cars, the machines with some of the driver aids and the lower horsepower than the purebred Trans Am cars, they use those wet conditions to their advantage to wind up finishing on the podium in the overall race.
Right. No, I mean, these assists make it really easy, and I'm not sure if these guys have ABS or not, but that makes it really easy for these guys in the brake zone to not overshoot it necessarily because they have that assist done. And like you're saying, Matthew Brabham, Paul Menard, all those guys in the top class, they don't have any of that. So if they lock up, they better realize it pretty quick. So
yeah. So as you look at the scoring ticker left of the screen, the cars in the black tab on the scoring screen, those are the Trans Am cars. The blue tabs are the SGT cars, and the white tabs are the GT cars. There's the legend at the bottom of the scoring ticker now. So watching this race here for 3rd spot, Chris Dyson, after maybe a little bit of a cautious start, now starting to put some pressure on Tommy Dreese for 3rd. Tommy Dreese with a milestone start here today, his 200th Trans Am start in that number 8 machine.
A lot of experience behind the wheel there. Like you said, 200 start, Tommy Dreese. You can see both of them actually running 2 different lines going into turn 5 and entering the toe here. So, Chris Dyson putting some pressure on this 8 car.
Tommy from Los Angeles, California, the Trent Shoring Chevy Camaro. I talked to Tommy the other day about 200 starts. First thing out of his mouth, and you'll relate to this as a driver, Elio. He said, I can think of 10 races I should have won that I didn't.
Right.
And then we started reflecting on the ones he did win in his championship season of 2009. A championship, by the way, that he locked up here at Watkins Glen in Trans Am competition that year.
Yep, there's a lot of could-have, would-haves, and should-haves in this sport. And so, yeah, you can see we're all really close to these 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So, and like you said, the spray is not really easy to see behind following a car. It's just like a gray smoke in front of the windshield. So you're just following the headlights or the taillights from the guy behind.
This for 3rd place overall as Brabham has opened up about a 4-second gap on Paul Menard in the first few laps of this race. So we race for third here, and we race for the SGT lead just behind them. So it's Dreese, Dyson, Pintarek, then Coffey and Schmidt for the SGT lead. Right behind them. There they are. Chris Coffey had a bad wreck in this car at Indianapolis during that weekend, and spent basically 2 weeks rebuilding the car by himself. He said he worked 14-hour days for 7 days for 2.5 weeks to rebuild this car around his full-time job, which is preparing cars and restoring cars for others. Here comes the move for third. Dyson to the inside of Dreese, and won't get to keep it in there into the bus stop.
Thinks better of it. A little too early, and probably last lap move probably would have made it stick, but thinks better of it. Just fall back and try to live and fight another day.
And having a look around the carousel, talking about the visibility in the spray behind. What about out the mirrors for the guy in front?
It's a little bit easier to see, but like you said, you have the spray from your car, so even with that, you can't really see the guy behind you. So almost in a way, you're trying to guess where to go, but. Can't tell if he's trying to make. Oh, he goes on the inside here, going into the toe.
This is turn number 7. Side by side for third. Talked about Tommy Dreese in his 200th Trans Am start. Chris Dyson tied for second all time in Trans Am wins, and a 3-time winner in 9 tries here at Watkins Glen. Behind the wheel of that red and white number 20 Mustang.
Some good racing. These 3 guys all really close together. Here they go, going into turn 9.
David Pintarek right behind in the 57. The Bird's Eye Project machine that, again, had an engine problem during the weekend for David Pintarek's team. After some of the difficulties they've had in each of the last several races, there were not parts available to repair this car. Between Road America and here, they had to make some parts themselves for the race car. Then they got here and had an engine problem on Friday and didn't get to qualify on Saturday. So it's been a bit of an adventure for Pintarek in that red, white, and blue 57 machine.
He's had to come over a lot of adversity recently with him and his crew, but I talk with him quite a bit during these weekends, and really great guy, shares a lot of info and insight with me, and so always enjoy talking with David, and learned a lot from him. So really cool to see him out there racing with these guys.
Nobody has a bigger passion for Trans Am. Well, I think 2 guys, right? David and Tommy Dreese have just this massive passion for Trans Am racing, as Dyson continues to look inside of Dreese, but not run it up in there yet. Splashing through the bus stop, the inner loop. Oh, Pintarek with a spin out of the inner loop. Can he keep it off the wall?
Just misses it there.
Doesn't hit anything. Now can he get out of the slick grass? And that's a definite maybe.
We'll see if he can get in reverse here. The grass in the wet is really slick, so look on the inside, going into the toe, I believe.
Yep, that's Chris Dyson again, looking inside of Tommy Dreese. And this for the final step on the podium. I'm trying to decide for myself. These are 2 guys that just always have a smile on their face at the racetrack, right? Dreese and Dyson. Trying to decide if they're smiling right now or not.
Right, both smiles are probably faded away right now, or they're enjoying it, one or the other, but they're doing some really good hard racing out there with 27 laps to go.
David Pintarek's car has not moved away from where it came to rest at the bus stop yet, and waiting to see if that is going to necessitate a full course yellow. The leader has just come through there under a local yellow.
Yeah, if he can't get out there, I'm assuming it's going to be a full course yellow, especially on exit of the bus stop where you're already going at a really high speed. So, if he can't get out of there, which I hope he can, it'll be a full course yellow.
Actually, I think the leader's just coming up the back straightaway now toward him, and he got it spun around. Okay, so David Pintarek gets it out of the grass and keeps going, and will stay under the green flag.
Yeah, bummer for David there, but I'm sure we'll get some chaotic stuff happening, and maybe he can get another shot at it.
All right, here's the lead for SGT. Chris Coffey, the red and black Ferrari, number 97, and Jesse Schmidt, the white number 91 Porsche. And you see the gap from those drivers up to that race for third and the last step on the overall podium. Schmidt with a look inside of Coffey. Chris from Dallas, Texas. The Traffic Graphics NAI Racing Ferrari 458. Champion in the GT category the last 2 years, moving up to SGT for the first time this year. Chris has 2 wins in GT racing here at Watkins Glen, but has stepped up to the more powerful category for 2026. Jesse Schmidt's a 38-year-old from Wilton, New Hampshire, and he made his TA debut at Lime Rock Park in this car, won the SGT category that day, and finished second overall in the race in the rain.
Wow.
I talked with Jesse here the other day. He said, he's raced everything. He started racing motorcycles, and then he raced Skip Barber Series, their spec cars, and then he went to spec Miata. He's just made the progression up now to professional level racing. An engineer by trade, and he and Chris Coffey there racing for the SGT lead and 4th place. Check that, 5th place overall in the race. These Porsche GT3 Cup cars got to be a lot of fun.
I've never driven one, but it does look like a lot of fun, and I always love the sound of them rolling down pit road when you can hear the cut gears. And it's just as a driver and a motorsports fan myself, it's I don't know what it does to my brain, but yeah. I just love listening to it.
Yeah.
But you can see it getting really close on him. Exit of the last corner, turn 11, making the run down into turn 1. We'll see if he tries to make a move.
Yeah, Chris Dyson has backed off Tommy Dreese a little bit for 3rd place right now.
And right now, too, I mean, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is even though we have windshield wipers, another adversity that we have to overcome is the fog on the inside of these race cars. So we're not sure which drivers are dealing with that challenge right now. And you can see, I think Matt Brabham and Paul Menard are kind of separated enough from each other where they don't have to use the windshield wipers. Teams try and put Rain-X on the front windshield to try and let the water beat off quicker. So as soon as you touch that windshield wiper, it kind of smears it all off and ruins the effect. But yeah, definitely a tool you can use, but only want to use it as a last resort.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a look at the gap from 1st to 2nd, and now this race for 3rd. And a few car lengths settling in here between Dreese and Chris Dyson for the number 3 spots. Talk about pace for just a minute. The pole-winning speed for Matthew Brabham, the pole-winning time was 1 minute 41.4 seconds. The laps they're running right now are over 2 minutes around here. So they are 20 seconds off of qualifying pace in the dry yesterday.
Yep, that just goes to show you how slick it is in the rain, even with the wet tires that Pirelli provides. And it's tricky with all the horsepower that these guys have. I mean, when we watch the onboard of Tommy, you can see how much he's pedaling it and barely even reaching full throttle in most parts of the track. So it's really tricky out there.
Yeah, 900 horsepower engine in the wet. No matter how good the rain tires are, the potential's there to buzz those tires really easily, right?
Very easy. And even in the dry, you're still having to modulate the throttle. So it just makes it that much more important when it's wet and slick out there, like how it is.
Tommy going down looking for the wettest spot on the racetrack he can find to keep those tires working the best they can work.
Yeah, that's one thing you'll see is as the track starts to dry off, the drivers will try and look for cool spots, either puddles or pull off line, just to cool those tires off. It still looks like the track's pretty damp still, so nothing to worry about too much for now. But the longer you keep these tires cool, the better you'll be off at the end of the race.
Our Perfect Vision drone coverage brought to you by Perfect Vision, the official high-speed internet provider of Racing America. And welcome them aboard as part of the Racing America family this week. Bus stop here. And in drying conditions on pit road, let's check with Nate Dreyer. Well, maybe Nate's mic needs a little drying out itself here. We'll hear Nate. We'll hear from him in just a minute. Derek Carter is on pit road, the GT class driver in the number 24 machine from Iowa. He has brought his machine down the pit lane for any pit stop in a Trans Am race or a Q3 Architecture TA2 Series race is an unscheduled pit stop.
It is. Yeah, you don't plan on making those, but sometimes there's things that you don't plan on happening, and you got to fix it. So not sure if he had an issue or he come in at overheating or whatever it may be, but yeah.
All right, let's give another go here for Nate down on the pit lane.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. So, as you mentioned, we do have some drying conditions out there. Cat Brew at the front between Matthew Brabham and Paul Menard. Menard had some issues getting around lap traffic. That's going to be a factor as this race goes on. But an interesting cat and mouse game, talking to the teams throughout the week. And this is really applying, of course, in the dry where both cars were so fast. Both would have set the track record in qualifying. The Menard car has probably been a little bit better in the low-speed corners, the teams were telling me, versus the Brabham car. The CD Racing cars are really, really good in some of the higher speed corners. And, of course, that changes quite a bit when you get into these wet conditions. And still, as you guys in the booth were just mentioning, we are well off those pole speeds. But one interesting note, this isn't true of most of the teams, but behind me, the CD Racing group, they do have their dry weather tires out. They were making some tire pressure adjustments and getting ready. I think we're a long ways away from that crossover point still, but the CD Racing team at least is thinking about there being a chance of having a crossover onto the dry weather tires.
All right, Nate, thanks. Talking with a couple of the team engineers this morning about what that point is, lap time-wise, where you need to think about going to dry tires. And we're still a long ways away from that. Unofficial number thrown out to me was like the old, remember like in IndyCar they have the 105% rule. You have to be running within 105% of the leader's pace. 110% of the dry pace, if I interpreted what I was being told right, is where you need to think about that crossover.
Right. No, and like you said, if it, I'm not sure how quick these Pirelli wet tires can go in the dry, but I mean, if you can manage to hang on and kind of just keep the gap that you have, I mean, you're going to get caught by the guys in the dry, but it's only a matter of time of chasing the clock out.
Yeah. So watching here as our leader Matt Brabham is hunting wet to keep those Pirelli wet tires cool. One of the things that happens to a rain tire, a racing rain tire, as the track starts to dry out, is it heats up.
It does.
And whereas the racing slicks are built to disperse the heat of a dry track, these wets aren't designed to get that hot that quickly. And so finding that water to keep them cool is kind of one of the key things.
Right. And so also, as you spin the tires and get them more hot, that tread that we have that helps disperse the water in the wet, it trims down, and so almost the effect of the wet tire goes away, and you're stuck almost with a slick in the rain, which the Pirelli wet tires are made for the wet, not for the dry. So that's where it becomes tricky. But you see Matt there being really gentle and smooth with his inputs, his throttle, his brake, and just trying to search for those puddles. So he's a really well and accomplished driver, so he knows exactly what he's doing, and I'm sure the team's telling him, just go out there and drive your race and do what you do.
And again, a doubleheader weekend here for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. So, make sure you bring the car back in good shape to be lined up again tomorrow to run another 100-mile sprint here at Watkins Glen, especially for this team with the championship lead. Having a good, safe day today is a big deal.
Yeah, and then that may be why you saw Chris Dyson maybe back off of Tommy there, just kind of take a little breather, maybe try and learn a couple things from Tommy up ahead, and maybe make another charge there at the end. But, for now, everyone's kind of evenly spread out for the most part. But we still have Matt Brabham leading the race here with 22 laps to go.
Yeah, not even halfway yet at Watkins Glen. Brabham running laps of about 2 minutes and 5 seconds on average. Again, the pole speed was a 1 minute 41. So he's opening up a gap of about 12 seconds on Paul Menard, who's in second spot. Then you go a ways back, about 20 seconds and change, back to that third place race between Tommy Dreese and Chris Dyson. The SGT class lead, there it is. Still within a couple of car lengths. Chris Coffey in the red Ferrari 97 car, leading Jesse Schmidt in the white and black Porsche, the 91 car. And both those drivers as well hunting water to keep those Pirelli wet tires in as good a shape as possible for as long as possible.
You see Schmidt getting a really good run off of turn 9 there, right on the back bumper of that Ferrari, heading into turn 10.
Now the final corner. This is a tricky corner at Watkins Glen as well, right? There's no runoff. Barrier is right there.
Right there. You're greeted. Warm welcome with that blue wall on the outside there. And it's tricky because you have a big compression zone right at the apex and then falls away from you. It feels like it falls away from you. And then, like you said, you're going to the wall, and it's almost one of those things. You got to just trust those tires that they're going to grip up and hope you don't slide.
So this is the race for the SGT lead in 5th overall, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all together on the racetrack. And again, 1, 2, and 3 in SGT, the blue-colored number tabs on the scoring ticker. When you go into a race, when you're out there this afternoon in your Alessandro's Chevy for Team SLR, starting, by the way, from the front row in our Q3 Architecture TA2 race this afternoon, you get into a rhythm normally, right? How much can... Whoa, a little slide there from Coffee. Yeah. How much can you get into a rhythm in a rain race, or is it constantly changing enough that there's never a rhythm?
Yeah, it's tricky. I would say the only, time you would really get in a rhythm in the wet is if it's always, the same conditions, either raining the whole time or completely dry. But in the wet, and especially in these conditions, you can never really settle into a rhythm because you're trying something different every lap. Whereas in the dry, you'll hear drivers talk about the flow state, where you kind of already know what line you have to run, where you need a break already. And so it almost just feels like time is passing by and you're just almost watching throughout your eyes and just enjoying the ride. But here, you're still enjoying the ride, but it's a little bit more, what's the word, high alert?
Yeah. Being very sensitive to everything you're feeling, right? Here's a look at our GT class leader. This is Michael Saya from the Boston area, driving this KMC Motul Rapid Wraps Porsche GT3 Cup car. He's a veteran racer and driving instructor from the Boston area. Had a nice chat with him yesterday in the paddock. He's got a 2022 class win here at Watkins Glen, racing with us in Trans Am. And Saya said he loves to come racing with this group. Doesn't get a chance to follow the national tour, but the races that are up in the northeastern neck of the woods, where he is based from, he loves to be part of. And right now he's out there leading the GT class and running in 8th position overall. By trade, Michael, the Vice President of Development for a technology company.
Wow.
So, again, the engineering minds being applied to a racing machine here.
All end up at the racetrack somehow, right? And I've always been a fan of those bright neon colors, even growing up with karting, and it stands out. I think whenever you ask a kid, what car you're watching around the racetrack, they always point to either the red cars or the neon cars. So I'm glad my car's red.
Yeah, there you go. And still this SGT class lead for 5th overall between Coffey and Schmidt is a close one, but just like the race for 3rd overall between Dreese and Dyson, Schmidt not choosing to take a gamble on making a move yet.
Right. I mean, we still have 20 laps remaining in this race, so that gives Schmidt a lot of time to just kind of see where the weaknesses are of that 97 car. And there's some sections where they'll pull away, and then some sections where Schmidt will catch right back up. So Coffey doing a really good job, though, leading and not really making too many mistakes. We saw him earlier make a little slide in the bus stop, but recovered it really well.
Chris has had some struggles with this car all weekend long, trying to get the handling to his liking and the liking of the tires on the machine. He knew today was going to be a pretty good fight with Schmidt in the field this weekend as well. So these two guys nose to tail for the entire race so far, and this for the lead in SGT, and again 5th overall. Got a car off in turn 1. It's David Pintarik again.
Looks like the exit of turn 1 there. Maybe touched the exit curbing and got a little loose.
And able to fire it up and continue on, and again without hitting anything, which is a good thing. So Pintarik stays clean, and we stay green in that part of the racetrack. So Matthew Brabham leads. Paul Menard 2nd. Tommy Dreese and Chris Dyson continuing to run in 3rd and 4th position. And let's check down to the pit lane with Nate.
Yeah, that one of the closest battles on the racetrack. I checked in with each team to hear a little bit of what their drivers are saying. For Tommy Dreese, who has been a little bit quicker than Chris Dyson the last couple of laps, he's actually been quiet on the radio. Remember, Tommy told me before the race that he was really looking forward to this being a wet race. They had a pushy race car throughout the week leading into today's race, and he felt that a little bit of chaos and the track slicking up in the rain would help him. For Chris Dyson, they think they have a lot of speed. He's mostly managing that gap still right now. So I think that gap that's remained somewhere around 3.5 to 4 seconds right now being managed by both of those drivers. We may see Chris Dyson start to try to mount an attack here in the coming laps, though, for the third spot in the bottom step of the podium.
All right, Nate, thanks. Yeah, Chris has fallen back by 5 seconds off of Tommy Dreese. And that the fight for the last step on the podium there. You see the gap. Dreese in the black and gold and red Trent Shoring Chevy. And there is Chris Dyson in his white and red Ford Mustang. Oh, here we go. For the lead in SGT. Schmidt outside of Coffee, and he's going to get it done.
Made the move on the outside of the toe. Really impressive there. And here they go heading into the heel, still side by side.
Is this done yet?
Oh.
Nope, not done yet.
Really fair, clean racing here.
And they've got Derek Carter, GT Class second place, just ahead of them. But it looks like Jesse Schmidt is going to finally get through Chris Coffey and take over the lead in SGT.
Let's see how they maneuver around this car up ahead. Hopefully they didn't get caught out in the wrong spot, but let's see.
Yeah, remember we mentioned Carter was on pit road a little bit ago, so he's a couple of laps down.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
And into the barrier goes Jesse Schmidt. Trouble in the final corner in the wet. As cars get together, is Schmidt going to be able to fire that up and drive it away, or has there been too much damage to the right rear corner of that Porsche? He's got it fired. He's rolling. And he'll drive away.
Man, that's unfortunate for Jesse
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it is. So the SGT lead, which went side by side for a bit, now belongs to Chris Coffey. And that's some pretty good damage there to the Jesse Schmidt car. And he's going to wind up turning off the race course and pulling into one of the stations where he can get safely back behind a wall and be out of danger from other cars. Well, this was kind of unfortunate here.
Yeah, let's take a look at it again here going into turn 11.
So that line there is the pit lane entry.
Yeah, just from that angle, just looked like the 91. I mean, I don't put blame on any driver there, but they're both trying to fight for the outside lane for grip there, and just kind of had unfortunate contact, and unfortunately Schmidt just had the bad end of the stick there.
Got to go full course yellow, as we've got two cars stopped on the race course. We've got the Schmidt car that's up on the outside of turn 1. But then we've got another car stopped at the exit of the carousel and the entrance to the boot. And I'm trying to pick up a number on that car if I can. But it's kind of hidden from my view for just a minute. So full course yellow for the first time in this race comes out just before halfway with Matthew Brabham's pretty sizable 13.5-second lead going to be erased by the pace car picking up the field.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Guys and drivers have now. Oh, Tommy.
Oh, it's Tommy Dreese. There it is. I couldn't see the number, but look at the front end of that car all torn up.
That is big contact. Is that into 6, I believe?
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, that's where I was saying. Really easy to get light under the brake zone there, and especially in the wet. So all I can think of, just kind of either dip the tire, touch the white line, and yeah, unfortunate contact there for Tommy.
So our third place driver has had heavy contact at turn number 6. It's brought out the full course yellow, and you see that the safety workers are en route to Tommy Dreese's car. Under yellow at Watkins Glen International, Matthew Brabham is our overall race leader.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Back live at Watkins Glen, look at the accident scene where Tommy Dreese crashed into the outside barrier. You see a lot of work, a lot of damage to the front end of that car, and a lot of damage to the tire barrier as well down in that part of the racetrack. Just how hard the veteran Dreese impacted the barrier over in that part of the race course. Safety team is there, and we did have an onboard camera in Tommy's car, and we have a look at what happened to Tommy Dreese. Exiting the carousel, turn 6 here.
Just locks it up.
Wow.
Yeah. Super easy to do there. Very downhill corner and in the wet, and yeah, just makes a simple mistake, but very costly there.
All right, so while that's going on out in turn number 6 on the pit lane, the top 2 in the race are on pit road. And I don't see any rain grooves on those tires they're fitting to those 2 machines.
This is what I was saying earlier. All you have to hope for is a full course yellow, and here we are, Paul Menard putting those slick Pirelli tires on. Just a little burnout coming off of pit road, and here we go.
And he's going to get out first. Is that no? That's Chris Dyson's car that's also in there getting fitted. So it'll be Menard and Dyson.
We'll see if Matt Brabham comes down pit road next because of the 2 close competitors pitting for slicks. So
yeah, okay. That was Chris Dyson's car that was in there. So that changes some things too, with Brabham behind the pace car and the other 2 cars now having put slick tires on. All right, so let's talk about that for just a minute. This full course yellow could go on for a little bit while they fix that tire barrier where Tommy Dreese crashed. So now you're going to have these guys out there on slick tires on a track that is, looking out the window of the booth here, still damp.
Very damp.
What's that going to be like?
I mean, even looking at Matt Brabham's onboard here, and I mean, I would say if your 2 closest competitors put on slicks, I mean, if I was in that scenario, I'd almost want to put slicks on as well, because the last thing you want to do is be the guy left out. And you know, I think if Matt stays on the rain tires, he'll fire off a lot better. But we still have a long time left in this race, so it'll be, yeah, like you said, very. I would almost expect Matt to come down pit road. I'd be surprised if he stays out.
So it'll be interesting to see what Matt Brabham and company do. Nate reports up from the pit lane. that they are preparing dry tires for Matt Brabham's car. So we'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the cleanup and the barrier repair over in turn number 6. Fortunately, that Tommy Dreese able to climb from his car. Unfortunate that he hit the barrier hard in turn 6, and you had a sneak peek there at Matthew Brabham turning to pit lane as we take a break. Under caution at Watkins Glen at the halfway mark of the race.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Back live, Watkins Glen International under full course yellow after Tommy Dreese had a hard crash over in turn number 6. Work continues there. Meantime, the field continues to cycle around under what's called Code 60. It means everybody's doing 60 miles an hour. It's almost like the virtual safety car in a Formula One race where everybody's doing the same speed, which kind of freezes the gaps between drivers and cars. And so while that's been going on, people have been coming down pit lane and swapping from wet to dry tires.
You can see Matt Brabham came in for those slick Pirelli tires and was able to keep the lead because of Code 60. If everyone's behind, if everyone was behind the safety car, it would have been Matt Brabham going to the tail. But thanks to Code 60, he's able to keep the lead and with some fresh Pirelli tires.
So while they have the safety workers out on the racetrack doing the barrier repair and so on, that's why they keep the field at Code 60. When they release the Code 60, then everybody catches up to the safety car and they get the leaders cycled up behind the safety car and all the rest. But the end result is, after that barrier is put back together, and they're working hard at it, but they've got some work still to do, as you can see, the amount of laps remaining in the race versus the time remaining in the race is going to begin to become a factor. We have 15 laps to go, but with that 75-minute time limit, we're down to 33 minutes.
Right. I would think we are going to end on time here because, we'll go a little bit faster with the slick tires. We'll probably go sub 2 minutes here under green. But like you said, being under Code 60 here is going to eat up a bunch of time. So we're going to plan on finishing under the time here.
So let's talk about your race that comes up, a little after 1 o'clock or so, maybe around 1:30 today because of the lightning delay. Q3 Architecture TA2 Series Round 8 of the season. Again, the first of a doubleheader. You're lined up on the front row, qualified second with your teammate Alon Day alongside. Chris...
we have Tristan McKee starting
Tristan
P3.
McKee, thank you. I was taking a note from somebody else saying Chris Coffey has taken over the SGT lead, and I had a senior moment there. But Tristan McKee is back
Right.
This should be an interesting afternoon.
Yeah, it'll be, when I heard the news that Tristan was going to run with us, I was pretty excited to have not only another team member, but another fast competitor joining the field. So not only do I have Alon Day, who's always been right there with me, but I have Tristan McKee, who's been right there. And unfortunate in practice, one yesterday had to swap out the motor, but still put together a really good lap to start P3 there for Tristan McKee.
Your qualifying session was not very straightforward. You had to work hard to get that front row spot.
Right. There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes there for qualifying. Rolled off, started from the front there in qualifying, got pretty good heat in the tires, and on my first two flyers, we had a transmission issue, so I couldn't use first gear for the rest of the session, which is unfortunate because in the boot, going into the laces and the toe and the heel, you're using first gear. So it was really tricky, and I had to overcome a little bit of adversity, and I was a little frustrated as well, not with the team, but just with the scenario and the situation in general.
Yep.
But you're still happy. I think for a moment we were 15th, so right at the end, that last lap, was able to secure a P2 finish right behind Alon Day.
So 100-mile sprint on what should be dry conditions later today. Knowing it's a doubleheader weekend, how will that impact your approach to the afternoon, or will it at all?
I always feel like I try and take care of the car no matter if it's a single weekend or even a doubleheader. But it'll be interesting because, not only, there's a dry line forming, but still on the exit curbing, turn 1 and the bus stop, it's still going to be damp over those curbs. So it's still going to be a handful out there, and just try my best to stay out of trouble at the beginning, and then hopefully just try and slot in behind Alon on the start and make a move there.
So they pulled the code 60, and so now we cycle around until we get the overall race leader first up behind the pace car. So that's what you'll see going on here for the next couple of minutes or so. There is Matthew Brabham, and he will pull up behind that Ray Skillman Auto Group pace car and gather up the rest of the field.
See him going nice and slow here in the laces. Looks like the corner workers did a good job. You can see the safety trucks leaving the scene now. Hopefully we can go green here shortly.
Big repair there. And hopefully we get a chance to hear from Tommy Dreese about what happened there. So, again, back to your race just for a minute before we let you go, because we need to get you down so you have time to do all your pre-race things. How much race management goes into running 100 miles here at Watkins Glen? It's super fast. It's the super speedway of road courses. There's evidence. It's super fast. How much race management goes into making 100 miles all it can be here?
A lot of it's just, like you said, the word is management. Trying to just where you are on track and just in the situation, really. The ideal spot would to be out front leading and just kind of driving off the rear view mirror, which is what I did at Road America, just trying to manage the gap, manage the tires. But today, starting second again, like I did to Matt Brabham. So, the big thing is just not trying to burn your tires off. Here, it's going to be really important. Pirelli does a really good job with our tires, but, just in the end of things, they're all going to get hot at some point. So, the driver who can manage it the best will be there at the end. And so, it really helps when we have a full course yellow, because whoever has the freshest stuff there can really take advantage of those close restarts. But I'm looking forward to it. Team SLR has done a really good job this year. I've lost track of how many wins the team has had in a row this year, so just really happy to be a part of a successful team this year. Tristan McKee being champion last year, so I'm sure he's going to come back and try and put it on the top step again, but it'll be fun. I got to thank Chevrolet, Alessandro's Racing, Heraldo Media Group, my family for coming out, and just everyone that supports me and is always there for me. And, just excited to be out there and take the green for the first time here at Watkins Glen.
And I want to thank you for coming up here and doing this. And hope you had fun, and good luck this afternoon and tomorrow as we watch you defend that championship lead.
Thanks, Alan.
Elio Meza, championship leader, driver for Alessandro's Racing and Team SLR, and getting ready to go. He'll start on the outside of the front row in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race that follows pretty quickly our Trans Am Series by Pirelli race this afternoon. The lightning delay puts us in a bit of a compressed schedule. But great job by the young man who is going to go out there and see if he can pick up yet another win on this season. He's won 5 of the 7 races that we've had so far. So trying to get the field ordered up and understand that Nate is standing by with Tommy Dreese.
That's right. Thanks, Alan. Tommy Dreese out of the race. Hard incident from third. First off, you're back in the paddock. Are you okay? And then take us through what happened in that incident from the driver's seat.
Yeah, physically I'm okay. I'm just gutted for this team. They worked so hard. We made the right call how we set the car up. We had a good fight with Dyson for a little while, and then I was able to put my head down. Take some, you got to take risk if you want to stay ahead of Dyson. Maybe he had the right call and kind of waited it out because, I still was pushing how our fast laps, what we get our fast laps here is how we qualify tomorrow. And so we were P3 to start the race tomorrow. And the front's I had great brake balance every lap we've been doing, every corner. And I started running, I could see where if I needed to, the two guys up front, Maddie and Menard, were pretty much ahead. They got ahead when it was really wet. And but then I started seeing times come down. I knew what times they had, their fast times. So I knew I could run those laps possibly. But I started saving because I wasn't going to catch them. They were a little far ahead, hoping for a yellow. And, it happens, man. The rain's your friend, and sometimes it's not. We'll be ready tomorrow. We got to do what we got to do to get in the race tomorrow. And just thanks to all the fans out here in the rain. They stuck out here. Jagger, Elin, Lacey, I'm okay. And, God, that's a P3, man. That's a lot of points. And yeah.
Well, we're glad you're okay. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Tommy Dreese, Alan.
Yeah, hate it for Tommy. Nobody has a greater passion for Trans Am racing than Tommy. His 200th start today will be one that he'll remember, but not for the right reasons. Cleanup continues, and we're looking for a restart soon here with the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, coming to you from Watkins Glen on Racing America.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
And the green flag has just come back out here at Watkins Glen. A quick restart after the barrier repairs are all finished. And Matthew Brabham, as you can see, has taken the lead over Paul Menard. Chris Coffey in that 97 Ferrari was the overall race leader at the restart. He is the SGT leader, but he was the overall race leader on the restart. Now he's fallen back in line as the big, powerful Trans Am cars work their way through on the restart. Here is for second place. It's Paul Menard leading Chris Dyson. Menard in the Pittsburgh Paints Ford Mustang for 3GT Racing, and Dyson in that Jim Soda red and white Mustang for CD Racing. And again, this for second overall as they work down the straightaway. So just confirming from Nate on pit road that Chris Coffey did not stop under the yellow flag like many of the others did, to switch to dry tires. So that's why he was the overall race leader. But Coffey, the SGT leader, still out there on wet tires and running in what is probably 4th overall. Zach Arnold is 2nd in SGT. And I believe I did see him on the pit lane changing to dry tires earlier on. So Matthew Brabham maintains the race lead through all the chaos, and here's the race for 2nd overall. Paul Menard and Chris Dyson, a couple of familiar rivals from a season ago. Last couple of seasons, actually, in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. The lap times earlier, these drivers were running in the 2-minute and 5 to 2-minute 7-second bracket. Now that they've put the dry tires on and the track continues to dry, last lap for the leader, Matthew Brabham, was a minute 54.1. As Dyson has a look and lets Menard know he's there in the mirrors. Through the inner loop and to the carousel they go. Dyson with a look inside, looking for 2nd spot. And now the crossover look as they go down to the laces. They'll single file it out as they go now to the toe of the boot, turn number 7. As you see, a lot of dry racing surface, a lot of dry pavement now, but still some areas that are damp at different parts of the course. So these guys doing this side-by-side racing while dancing around some of those damp spots. There's one they run through as they come up the hill to turn number 9. So Brabham crosses the start-finish line and gives us 10 laps to go, and we're just inside 20 minutes remaining. Going to be close on time or laps remaining in this one now that these guys are on dry tires. Reminder, you can get all your favorite racing action on the Racing America free streaming channel. Watch 24/7 on Amazon Prime Video, the Roku channel, and My Free Direct TV. We've got live racing, original content from Trans Am, grassroots series, and NASCAR teams. The Racing America channel, your 24/7 racing fix. And we've got a lot for you this weekend from Watkins Glen International. It's doubleheader weekend for both the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. This is the first of 2 for the Trans Am Series. And you're watching the race for 2nd place. Matthew Brabham has chunked out an 8-second lead already, but this between Paul Menard in the blue and yellow. And there's debris off of a car right in the area of turn number 6. Wow. I'd like to know which car that piece of debris came off of. I haven't seen anybody come by missing something yet. But surface flag is flying out there in turn number 6. And we have a look at where it came from. This is Derek Carter. Ooh. Well, there it is. Carter, the GT class driver, 34-year-old from Davenport, Iowa, who's had quite a fight. Had some significant mechanical problems on his car that limited his track time coming into the race. He's right now running 2nd in GT behind Michael Saya, who's the GT class leader. Zach Arnold has passed Chris Coffey for the SGT class lead as Arnold's on dry tires and Coffey's out there on the wets. So you've got Matthew Brabham with a solid lead overall, and this continuing fight for 2nd spot, the best action on the track between Paul Menard and Chris Dyson. So just joining us today from Watkins Glen, We are in the waning laps of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli race that was delayed at the start by a lightning and a storm cell that moved through this area, dumped heavy rain on the circuit. As Chris Coffey's car comes down the pit lane, and it looks like he'll switch to the dry tires on that number 97 Ferrari. And again, remember, if you make a pit stop in a Trans Am Series race, you don't have the full pit crew there ready to go. So the SGT lead now in the hands of that driver, the 72 machine, Zach Arnold, driver from Tiffin, Ohio. His first year of running in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli since quite some time ago. His background, Grand Am, regional racing, and Zach Arnold, the winner in SGT at Indianapolis Motor Speedway earlier in the month of June, and here running up front in SGT at Watkins Glen to kick off his July racing action. So there is the 72 Porsche, the Arnold Machine Porsche GT3 Cup car for Zach Arnold and Kreider Racing. So Chris Coffey down and away with what looks like a pair of dry boots on the back end of that number 97 machine. There's your GT class leader, the number 13, the black, green, and yellow Porsche 997 GT3 Cup machine. Michael Saya from North Reading, Massachusetts, out in front. 15 car at the back end of the frame is Milton Grant, the Germantown, Tennessee veteran, who is running in 3rd and 7th overall in the SGT class. So things have settled down a bit up front. Matthew Brabham's opened up a 10-second gap on Paul Menard. Now Paul has pulled out a 1.1-second gap on Chris Dyson. David Pitarik runs 4th overall. And Zach Arnold, the SGT leader, is 5th overall. And let's check down on the pit lane once again with Nate.
Coffey come in a moment ago, and for that team, of course, it's been a wild couple of weeks as they had to rebuild the race car entirely after IMS. They had a wreck early in that week, missed the last round at Road America, now back here. So the decision that they made to stay out on wets really came from Chris in the race car, trying to be precautious. He still thought that the track was probably leaning still more towards being wet and wanting to stay out on those wet weather tires. Unfortunately, as we saw, the pace wasn't there, so the both safety and strategy gamble didn't quite work out for the team. They've now made that swap, gotten back out on the racetrack, and we've got everybody circulating on the dry weather tires, Alan.
Yeah, Nate, again, it's a pit stop for these teams is not a normal thing, and the length of time that it takes to make the trip down the pit lane and make the switch to the dry tires, you had to have that full course yellow in order to do that. And they got the full course yellow, and so everybody with the track drying quickly at that point made the move. The lap times have dropped by some 10 seconds a lap or more, and Coffey taking the gamble there, and right now he's got a pretty good gap to make up if he's going to catch Zach Arnold for the SGT win today. He is a lap down right now and in 6th position overall, 2nd in SGT. Well, the impressive run continues for Matthew Brabham in this number 16 machine, the Jim Soda car for CD Racing. Brabham has won every pole this season so far in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. He's won every race but one, that the race Lime Rock weekend when they had a clutch problem on the number 16 car in the wet, and he did not wind up finishing that race. Brabham looking to add on to an already decent championship lead over Paul Menard as we head into the second end of our weekend doubleheader tomorrow. Talking with Matt earlier in the weekend about his racing experience here at Watkins Glen. First time he's run a Trans Am car here at this racetrack, but he has raced here before in an LMP2 car, which is IMSA big downforce prototype machine, and he also ran one of those stadium super trucks here, the Robbie Gordon machines, where you jump the jumps at different parts around the racetrack. But this is the first time he's run a Trans Am car here. And as we ride on board with Matt, watch the speed number down the back straightaway as he passes the Michael Saya machine. 170 to the bus stop. He was doing 180 into this part of the race course yesterday in the full dry in qualifying was Matthew Brabham. Just gets in, extracts the most out of the machine, says these cars are great fun to drive, and on top of another race win, Matthew's scheduled to join us this afternoon for our broadcast of the Cube for Your Architecture TA2 series. And jump in the seat behind me here as he has some pretty good insight on that since he ran a TA2 race for the first time ever last round up at Road America in Wisconsin and wound up finishing in second spot in that one. But some work to do here yet. 6 laps to go, 11.5 minutes remaining on the clock as Matty takes us up the hill to turn number 9. He's checking back in on that race for second place. Paul Menard, Chris Dyson. Just getting around the GT class leader, Michael Saya. Talking with Chris Dyson about racing here this weekend at Watkins Glen. Of course, Chris coming off of running full-time in this series for a number of years and, you know, getting himself up to a tie for second in all-time wins and being a 3-time champion of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Due to business commitments, only running a partial schedule this year, and Chris said, you know, he just needs to build back up to it in steps. He said the goal for this weekend is to get on the podium a couple of times. Competed with us at Indianapolis earlier, competed at Lime Rock Park as well this season, but said the goal for this weekend, be on the podium twice. And then I can continue to think about improving and getting better as time allows me to train and prepare and get behind the wheel more in these races. So Chris Knight right now running in third and looking for his race team to have 2 of the 3 steps on the podium in another 4.5 laps. Matthew Brabham has won 60.8% of his starts in Trans Am competition. Isn't that incredible? I mean, from the first time he climbed behind the wheel of one of these cars, he has had pace, he's had speed, and he's known how to extract the best performance from it. And he's looking right now to claim, if everything holds together here for these final 4 laps, he's looking to claim what would be his 15th win in his 24th start. As you look back on Chris Dyson now, trying to see if he can mount a final laps charge on Paul Menard for second place. Some of the mist and spray from the cars coming through this corner on the lens of that camera as it pans around, as the skies have cleared considerably from the heavy overcast and thick rain we had earlier today. Down the hill to turn 1 we go. The race for second place here with 4 laps to go, or 8 minutes and 45 seconds, whichever comes first. I think it's going to be about a tie between the lap count and the timer on this race. Up the hill through the S's, down the back straightaway. 170 miles an hour to the braking zone for the inner loop. Paul Menard just continuing to put in smooth, consistent laps in this Pittsburgh paints machine. Talking with Paul earlier today, asked him if he'd ever run Watkins Glen in the rain. He said, I did once in a NASCAR then Busch Series car for a practice session a number of years ago, but acquitted himself quite well through the wet weather start and the opening parts of this race. And now he's here at a race for second spot here inside the final 4 laps over the 3-time series champion. So we got a 2-time series champion and a 3-time series champion racing for second in the final laps. Steeply uphill to turn number 9. All this going on 12 seconds behind the leader, Matthew Brabham, who's just cross start finish and kicked us down to 3 laps to go. So we're going to make this this race on distance, despite the late start and the wet weather start, as Menard continues to manage the gap back to Dyson at about an even 1 second from second to third. Farther back, Zach Arnold, Chris Coffey separated by a lap for the SGT lead. Michael Saya separated by 3 laps over Derek Carter for the GT class lead. And this just one of 2 on the weekend for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. They'll be back on the track. They've got the first of the doubleheader race today. Tomorrow afternoon, they'll flop it around. They'll have the second of the doubleheader races today. The Trans Am Series race tomorrow will go to post at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. So coming up about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, we'll have the green flag in today's Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race. Then these teams will have a long evening preparing these cars and getting ready to turn them over for competition tomorrow. They'll have a brief practice session, an install session tomorrow morning. Then Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series action comes your way on Sunday here with the second half of the doubleheader at 10:45 Eastern Time. And again, the Trans Am Series by Pirelli race at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. As the leader cycles his way around and across the start-finish line. And there are 2 laps to go. So white flag next time by for Matthew Brabham. Think of all of the decorated names in 60 years of Trans Am racing here at Watkins Glen. You can go back to people like Bob Tullius and Willie T. Ribbs. Some of the greats that have, Tom Kendall, all the other greats, Paul Gentilozzi, that have won in Trans Am competition over the years here at Watkins Glen. And now Matthew Brabham about to put that famous family name into the list of winners as well in this decorated series. And continue the romp that he's been on in 2026. Here is turn number 6, and that piece of debris from the Derek Carter car continues to give drivers away by. 30 plus miles an hour up into the toe of the boot. Back down and uphill again to turn number 9. And coming around the final couple of corners to see the white flag. So another dominating performance here for Matthew Brabham. So far in this one, only time he lost the lead was when he pitted to switch from the rain tires to the dry tires, and Chris Coffey stayed out on the racetrack, but quickly on the restart, Brabham regained the top spot, and he is now on his final trip around Watkins Glen to try and secure the first victory of the weekend in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Can't say enough about the performance of Brabham and this team. His championship lead, if things hold up as they are, is going to grow because Menard's going to get another second place finish behind Brabham. So the championship lead is going to grow from 34 to 40 points between the top 2 heading into tomorrow's 9th round of 12 on this season. And that's not a lot, because as much as Matty has done the winning and leading this year, Brabham has been Menard has been right there in second the entire time on the season. So one bad race could still turn this championship picture inside out a little bit between these 2 rivals that have dominated the front of the pack throughout the season long. So Brabham now charging down. And beginning to work his way toward the final couple of corners for what will be another victory on the season. It's going to be 7 wins from 8 starts as he gets a little wide on the final trip off of turn number 9 on this one. 7 wins from 8 starts on this season for Matthew Brabham, and an extension of his championship lead over Paul Menard as the checkered flag waves, and round 1 of 2 this weekend at Watkins Glen in the Trans Am Series goes to Matthew Brabham. A salute from the team after another dominating performance for the driver from Indianapolis. Here comes the run for the final podium spots. It'll be Paul Menard taking second once again. Chris Dyson will, in fact, get on the podium with a 3rd place finish on the afternoon. The SGT lead is separated by a lap, so it's going to be Zach Arnold coming around as he crosses the start-finish line to take a 2nd win on the season. And the GT victory is going to go to Michael Saya, who will score the win after making the tow over from the Boston area and coming out on top in the GT class. So an interesting day with a lightning delay, a start in the wet, a full course yellow after a heavy crash for Tommy Dreese. Tommy's okay, fortunately, and then a switch to dry tires, and through all of that, Matthew Brabham wound up hanging on to the lead. There's Chris Coffey, who's going to finish 2nd in SGT. And it will be Milton Grant who will take the final step on the podium in SGT. But, man, Matty Brabs, impressive again at Watkins Glen. So Brabham to the top step of the podium. We'll hear from our race winner in just a minute. Then we'll hear from him more when he joins us for the broadcast of the QP Architecture TA2 Series. Coming up in just a little while, Brabham wins at Watkins Glen in round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Live from Watkins Glen, round number 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli is over. Jim Weed Winner's Circle is ready for the driver of the Jim Soda Ford. Matthew Brabham is in victory lane.
Getting the helmet off, getting ready to get out of the Jim Soda car. The dominant season for the points leader continues as Brabham is up and out of the car. Win number 7 of the season. It's win 15 of his illustrious already Trans Am career, as he's well on to trying to capture that first championship this year, as the Jim Soda Mustang once again able to route to victory today Well, that was quite the race, Matt. A tale of two races. Started that one in the rain and those conditions managed, and then the dry and the drying conditions after the caution. Tell us about how you're able to manage it. Go to victory lane again.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome fun out there. It's so much more fun when you got varying conditions. You're kind of having that guessing game. When you come into a corner, you don't know what you got. But I love that stuff. It's so much fun. It reminds me of like dirt racing with the stadium super trucks. You know, I've had a lot of experience here in the wet. Race super trucks here with Robbie Gordon and also IMSA here. So I knew I had an advantage, especially on the start. I think that showed when we were just having those great restarts, because I knew where the wet track was good and bad, and I knew where when it was drying, I knew it was going to be good as well, because we went through all that in IMSA. But no, thanks so much to the Chris Dyson Racing team. All the boys and girls on our team have done an awesome job, and this car is flying. So it's just an absolute dream to drive, and thank you so much, everyone here, my wife, my family, Dog Brumby, and Chris, and obviously Jim Soda, our sponsor. So thanks so much. Cheers.
You've won in so many different kinds of race cars throughout your career, but right now this run you're on is unbelievable. This season, and since you got in one of these cars, how confident are you? Is this the most confident you've ever been as a race car driver getting into a car week to week?
I don't think my confidence level changes. Like, I'm always confident, but no, it can change at any time. I mean, I was only on pole by a couple of tenths, and Paul is really doing a good job, and he's getting better and better. So I never come to the race weekend thinking it's going to be easy. It's never easy, and as soon as you think it's going to be easy, it's when it all goes down the toilet. So yeah, no, it's a lot of competition with Paul, and it's going to be a lot of fun for the rest of the season.
Fun the rest of the season. More fun to come this weekend as well. You mentioned it's never easy. Got to turn around, have a race tomorrow. Think you can repeat and make it a doubleheader sweep?
That's the plan. Yeah, it's going to. Yeah, as I said, it was close in qualifying. I think Paul will be a lot better tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I'm always confident, but no different. It's going to be the same approach, and we're going to enjoy this win tonight. Not to have too many glasses of wine, and then obviously rehydrate and get ready for tomorrow.
Congrats, Matt.
Cheers, mate.
Matt Brabham, win number 7 of the 2026 campaign.
And not only that, the 15th career victory for Matthew Brabham ties him with Scott Sharp for all-time wins on the big list. So Matthew Brabham continuing to rapidly climb the list of greats in Trans Am Series racing in its 60th year. This year, he's done it all for sure. That's 62% of Trans Am races that he's entered, that he's won for Matthew Brabham. So Brabham scores the win today in the first of 2 this weekend at Watkins Glen. His margin of victory over Paul Menard was 17.5 seconds in the end, and Menard finishing second. Chris Dyson wound up in third position. Zach Arnold, 4th overall in that blue and white Porsche, and his second win of the season in SGT. With David Matarek, despite the 2 spins, never hit anything, came back to finish 5th overall. Chris Coffey finished 2nd in SGT, 6th overall. Michael Saya was 7th overall and the GT class winner. And you look at the rest of the top 10 finishers in today's round 8 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. So coming up in exactly about 10 minutes' time, a quick break, then we're coming right back here to Watkins Glen for the Green Flag and the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race, their round 8 of the season, with Alon Day and Elio Meza sharing the front row for that one. Tristan McKee is back in the fold as well. That comes up in 10 minutes' time, and then tomorrow we do it all again with both series racing once more at Watkins Glen here on Racing America. So for now, on behalf of Elio Meza, Nate Dreyer, and our entire Racing America production crew, Alan Bestwood. See you in 10 minutes when we'll go racing again here at the Glen with the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. Matthew Brabham wins in the wet, then dry at Watkins Glen today.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.